All right, welcome everyone. So this is going to help you create some database in Postgres using PG for a PG admin 4 or PG for admin, however you want to call it. Essentially, when you log in, once you log in, you put down your password. You should see something like this on the left side. So it's the servers, Postgres, database, and so forth. So our intention today is just to get comfortable with how we can use databases. Um, First of all, creating databases and and trying to be able to query and so forth. So if you forgot or don't remember, we're looking at four particular functions: CRUD, CRUD, and as a good database, you should be able to do create databases or tables, read, update, and also be able to delete. So these are the four functions that we can do. We may not cover all of them, but at least get you started. So the best way to do it is obviously be able to be comfortable when you're running these queries. So I just want to kind of give you some idea here. So in this one, I have a random table. And if you look at Postgres, just to kind of give you some idea here, this is a table. Let me annotate here. This is a table, so it is under public. The name of the table is regions, and you have two columns. And this table is connected to a bunch of different tables. One of them being the countries, and the other one being the locations and so forth. So there's a lot of connectivity. So I am trying to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables. So this is something you should be able to replicate. I'll provide you the codes, but at least you get an idea on, how to create these things. So let's remove that here. And what I'm going to do here is, obviously, when you're starting out, you don't have a database at all. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here on the Postgres, and then you're going to go create, and you can say database. You can put whatever you want. You can say practice, okay, or whatever you want to name it. If it's your assignment, you can put it as assignment as well, A1, whatever you name, doesn't matter. You can leave these things as it is for now. If you go on to tab, you can have more conditions, but not necessary. But if you go to SQL, it'll give you the code. Essentially, it says create database A1 with owner Postgres. Local provider, LIBC, connection limit means so. So it just gives you some idea, but it also GUIs, right? So, and once you do that and hit save, it will do something, and eventually you should see your database. I'm gonna drop down all of my other databases here. Okay, so this is what you should see. A1 under databases, CAS, catalogs, event triggers, extension, foreign data wrappers, a lot of different things. I would not worry about those things for now, but you would care about what we call schema. So schema is here, you drop it down. And what is a schema? Schema essentially is this. It is a logical design. So it's just another name for connectivity of the table. So let's go here and then let's see if we are, I'm just going to close this here, if we are able to see any tables, because tables, once again, tables connect. So, you have schema here, schema, that's, and then within that schema, you have a bunch of different tables that are connected, okay? Let's go ahead and see if there are any tables. We just create the database, so we think there's not going to be tables, but click on the drop-down menu or just click the little arrow, and there are no tables at all. So our job now here is to create some tables. I've already told you how those schema things are going to look like, but I'll give you the code. Make sure you enter the code, and then it'll go and do something. So go on tables here, and then you can either do create table. This is a GUI version of it. And you can put columns and so forth, but then this is a bit annoying because I'm giving you the code, but you can also do it. Like you can try it out. Maybe after you're done with this thing, maybe try to do the same thing for creating it through the GUI, but I am going to give you the code. So go here, tables, right click, and then you want to go, either you can do a P-SQL tool here, click on it, okay, or you can also do right click and also do query tool. Either way will work. So, I'll use this one because it's more cleaner. So once again, tables, query tool rather, right? So it'll show you something like this. Now, this is where you can run your query. So again, we have no tables. The first thing we want to do, obviously, is create a table, right? So, just store data. How do we know how many tables that we need to create? Well, you as a designer, it's up to you. So how do we create it? So first thing, if you do dash and this, slash and the star, and you can put comment, this is my query. And if you close that off again, and if you hit P, nothing will happen. But if you take this out and hit this, it thinks that it is a command. So the best way to comment it is slash and then star. And if you run it, and how do you know that your query ran well? Well, at the bottom, it says a query returned successfully in certain time. So you can also look at query history. It will tell you what you've run in the past so that, you can either remove all or you can whatever. It just gives you some nice interface. You can also save your query. You can edit it, indent it, and obviously you can also analyze it. So let's do that here, right? So what do you want to do? We want to create a table called regions, right? So let's do create, okay, table, okay, and regions, okay. If we just do this, this should work, okay. Or you can just take that out. Matter of fact, let's start with the column. It's better. So let's create tables called regions, and once you open the bracket, how many columns do you want? So let's say region ID, and you don't have to type it. I'll give you the code, and then we want to allocate the data type. So we'll say serial primary key. So have something that is region ID and it's called serial primary key, comma, we want one more table, and that is going to be region, the name of the region. And when you're doing assignment, you know what the columns there are. So it's not always going to be same, right? So something called character varying. I think you can character varying, meaning it is a name, but once you allocate, it will say, I'm going to say, put only 25 letters. So remember, when you're doing a column, maybe 25 is the character limit. You don't want like 100 where people can type. So for example, if it's, let's say, your first name and last name in a column, do you really want 500 letters, or do you want, or characters, or do you want just less than 25 or 30? 25, 30 is better. And the reason, it just makes it cleaner, right? So once that's done, close the bracket and hit this, and let's see if it's going to run. So either you can hit pay button or F5, and you can see create table, query returned successfully. The other way you can also do it here is, I think you can indent it, it will organize it better, things like that, right? You can also look into these things here. Explain. Oops, what happened here? Did it not? Okay, so the reason it's not running is it's already exists, right? So let's kind of go through the second one, right? So if you go back here now, and you can refresh the table, and you should see a table called regions. And if you go to column, you can see the columns, region ID and region name, and that is fantastic. If you double click here or edit here, or if you look at, so the constraints is where it tells you if it's a primary key, right? So you created first table. Now, second table, I'm just going to copy and paste the script that I have. It does the same thing. So again, you hit it. So what does it do? Now create another table called countries, and now you have country ID, country name, region ID, and it says integer not null means this field cannot be empty when someone's populating a database. For this one, it is a primary key. Country name, it has to be 40. And you might sometimes see things like update on cascade, on delete cascade. So essentially it means that if this table things were deleted, other tables that were connected and have region ID, that information is also deleted. Okay, so that's what it means. It's just control that we put, right? So let's see how it explains. Something's off here, but let's first hit play here. Okay, and now let's hit explain. Something's not right here, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. I think it's complaining, but sometimes you should see things here. Maybe not. Anyway, regardless, don't worry about it. It's just another tool. Maybe I'm missing something here. It's not necessary. Okay. So again, go here, tables, and refresh it, and you should see now 2 tables, countries and regions, right? So let's keep on going. And I'm going to do locations now. Same idea. You have location, street code, postal code, city, so forth, so forth. It says that if country ID is deleted, everything other tables should be deleted as well. Hit run. And in some cases, you can, if you look at the query, for query to end, you need semicolon. Like I have another 3 or 4 tables. What I can do now is I can paste everything one shot. Okay, so again, refresh it here. You have countries, location, and reasons. Now I'm going to do department, jobs, and employees and dependents. Just random tables I created for you. So once again, departments, jobs. If the department thing is already there, it'll complain. Okay, so that's foolproof. So again, second, third, you can paste it, everything. So hit run. Boom. Now you have all the tables. Because when you're creating this table, your primary key is linked to foreign key of something else, right? For example, in this one, create table foreign key location ID, references location ID on a location table. That's what it means, right? So you're connected. So how do you know if everything is went well? Well, what you can do here is you can come up here to A1, and then you can do ERD for database. And now you can see, based on our design, how these guys are connected. Okay, so this is what you need. This is just a practice thing for you, right? You can also, generate SQL based on the code here. It's already giving you. You already know that. See, it's a very smart tool, right? So at least on your practice session, you should be able to go to create a new database A1, go to schema, and create these tables. Now, let's look at this. You can always delete this. Don't save, doesn't really matter. You can close this again. Once again, now we want to know if there's data in this or not, right? So if you go here, and you can just go here, and then you can go script, and you can go select this read data, and let's say if there are any items on the database, right? So how do you do that? Well, you can go here, or you can write it something like this. You can open, once again, I think I confused you probably there. You go here, tables, query tool, and let's say you want to see everything in countries table. So select everything, star means everything, and countries, and semicolon, and hit next, and it is complaining. There's a reason why it is complaining, because it expects this to be .public, because it's part of the thing. But when you typically do your queries, it should work. But for this one, PostSQL is a little different, but don't worry about it. So once again here, go here. So it gave us an error, right? So for example, if you do select everything from countries, it's going to give us an error. And the reason for that, or maybe it didn't, but reason for that is sometimes you might have to hit public.countries, right? It should work. Why public.countries? Because it's under public. So you decide what you want to do. Again, let's go here, and you can run multiple query in here. So let's do select everything from employees, and hit that, and hit run. See, so if you note that all these databases have no entries, or all these tables have no entries in it, right? And without entries, we cannot run query. So the second option that we want to do is what we call, so we created tables and databases. We can update now, right? We also read databases through select statement. We can update now means add value, right? And we can also delete as well. So, we've actually done two things already. Now let's go ahead and update these tables. How do we do that? We do need to add some data, right? So I'm going to show you how to add data in here. And typically, if you note, there is going to be insert button. I have the code ready. It's a lot of data, so you don't want to do one shot at a time, but I'll show you very quickly. So, for example, this code here, what it says is insert into regions, this one, and these two columns, region ID and region name, and values, 1, and Europe is a string. String means it's text, right? So let's hit that, and let's see if it ran well or not. Now, let's go to regions here, and let's do select everything from regions and see what it comes. See, it added 1 Europe, 2 Americas, and so forth. So what you want to do now is do it for all of these tables. And I'm going to give you the code. And it's quite a long code and a lot of data. In your case, we can also upload a CSV file, but I'm going to just make it easy for you here. And you can do boom. So what it does is you can run all the codes for tables.countries. It's going to add country ID, country name, region ID, values, this is this, and so forth, right? So you can see that there is going to be a lot of value added. Hit execute script. Everything ran well. Now you can go to any of the places. Let's do select from countries. Right now I'm just doing select comment, right? So you can see it's now populated, right? So for this exercise, for this your first few weeks, you should be able to create database. You should be able to create tables and populate tables. You should have this because this is super important. I am going to post the codes for you, and you do it, and you watch the video, and you let me know. Another task you can also do is see if you can create table through graphical user interface. So maybe try to mimic something. So maybe you should do countries here, and you name it countries 1, and try to add the same columns and see how it works, because you know the value of these columns, right? So if you go back here, and you can know the attributes of this, right? So what are the columns? The columns are country ID, country name. What are the constraints? Well, country ID is a primary key. Country reason ID is a foreign key of something else, right? So, you can actually look into it and mimic the thing. So you can also go properties here, and it'll tell you exactly columns, what it is. It's a character varying. So try to create it, try to mimic it. Once again, let's see. At the end of the day, once everything is done, you should be able to go in here and find things, right? So if you go in here and you do ERD for database, you should be able to see this. All right, hopefully everyone has this. So your task is to install the Postgres, create these tables, because when we are in class, we'll be running queries, and these are the data we'll be running. It'll be right on your exam. Thank you very much.